Hey, you ever try to get out of the car and your purse gets snagged and the door's open and the kid's screaming, you're babysitting and the cat needs feeding and the cops looking at you and they're honking behind you and you suddenly look in the store display window and you see you're looking great, but you sure don't feel great. You gotta remember with me is I've always been like this. Like even when I was 7, I just wanted long hair. And when people started introducing me to LGBT and stuff, my first reaction when I was just a little tyke was, isn't everybody? Like, I always thought the only distinction was people who are married, and whoever you happen to have married, their gender, well, that determined yours, the name of your relationship, but that was it. It stopped there, right? It never dawned upon me that there was anyone apart from a bad person that couldn't be found attractive in some way and given some time to. Back in school, when people are forming little groups and teasing the ones who are crying more than they should, and the ones teasing them don't realize that maybe they don't have a home. It's almost instinctive. The first reaction is to fight against injustice. It's like, to just keep up the fight. You can't ever stop. Even if you're talking to yourself at 3 in the morning in a back alley beside a garbage can, that little light in there that shines, that bit of humility is always going to separate you as a human being that's capable of being a phoenix and snapping right out of it and shining. I got tossed out of the old family home when I was about 14, and I called my dad because there was a divorce there a long time ago, and got to live with him for about a year and a half. And I got thrown in prison, so he gave me a plane ticket to Europe and said he never wanted to see me again. And so after our 6 months in Europe, I come back to Canada. Asked my mom from Montreal for $100 to come out to Vancouver, and after an hour of begging, I got the money, and that was pretty much my hint that I wasn't welcome at home here. So, been on the streets since then, since '79. If at some point I'd just gone to the States or Canada or Europe or Mexico, that by the time I was 20, I would have everything I have now, and I'd have my whole life ahead of me, and I'd be the exact same person I am now. Right down to my choice in heels and purses. And as it is, I'm 53, and there's a great big chunk of life that was spent just walking around in circles every day, pushing a little cart in front of me. Because I just wouldn't come inside and clean up if I couldn't be as healthy looking as the other girls. And I just couldn't seem to pull it off. It just wasn't happening. And every month I'd pull out my little mirror, and yet when I go somewhere else, it's flowing away, so a little bit of temper there, like a disease that won't go away. I didn't have any ID, and I'm only down to my birth certificate because I was born abroad, so it's really hard to get it renewed when you lose it all. And I had a friend who knew the owner of the building, and of course the minute I moved in they sold it, but anyhow, so I managed to get in, right? And they wouldn't rent to me anywhere else without ID. And I got really lucky. The minute I moved in, they started renovating. It takes hard work to know how to look at yourself. You don't just look at yourself. You have to learn how to be comfortable with all the angles and stuff. And nobody really believes this because they've been living at home. Maybe 1 out of 1,000,000 lives on the streets for 30 years and stuff, and are thrown out when they're too young to really learn anything. So, when you look for the first time at your face and stuff and your body, you don't really know how to flatter yourself. So I tried the sweater on, and it was like music ringing and the light shining through the clouds, right? I looked at myself, it was like I was every Hollywood star in the world during that moment, and I just loved it. And I was like, okay. That was the beginning of my love affair with something that I didn't even know existed.
And what was that?
Clothing. I never paid any attention to them ever. It's just like stay out of the cold, make sure you don't get arrested, look like something you're not. But the idea that it was fun, that there was even such a thing as fun in life, just yeah. Now that everything's going tickety-boo and I'm off the street, I just want things to keep going the way they are. Like my plans used to start coming through and my hair goes nice and thick and long. It's not that the world is crueler than you think. It's that once you get on a bad streak, it will hang on, especially if you're stubborner than you think you are and haven't had the experience to see how you compare. So follow your paranoia. If you get a feeling it's time to just run out with the ball, then just grab it and run. The lumps don't matter.